Hello everyone, and welcome to the Woman's Cave.
You see how she had to see it twice because she never waits to see that blinking red light. No, she's like, "Hello, I'm here, Winona," and then it never works.
I feel like I said it twice because my voice is twice as nice when it's said twice.
You keep lying to yourself, dear, and we will accept it.
Oh my word! No.
I did that with the arm pat too, just for our podcast people. Hi, I'm Jade.
I'm still stunned. Does that count as a name?
No,
I'm Winona.
No.
And we wrote books,
which we like to call literary life guides with poetry, because doesn't that just sound nice? Okay, so here's the top 4 of like the 20 that we've written. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. And I thought I did my journey alone. All available on, well, 2 of them are available on Audible, and all of them are available on Amazon. And the last book is only available on Barnes & Noble. And it's If Only I Were Me. All right, and we have the 25 hottest indie authors, artists, and advocate magazine. We just have a lot of stuff going on, y'all. And if you want to keep up with all that your ladies are doing, just go on over to www.andwethought.com.
You can breathe. Go ahead.
I know. I did a lot about that. Okay, co-host, would you like to introduce?
Hi, I'm Tanya Todd. I'm an author, actress, and screenwriter from Las Vegas.
Fabulous, wonderful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself? Because you're not here to hear about us. You're here to hear from our wonderful guests.
Hi, I'm Jenn Wilson. I work for Film Independent and the Film Independent Spirit Awards.
Wow. I like that. That was super concise. Like that. I get like that. Like I need to write down points. All right. So I know Tanya has some wonderful questions because she always does. And we're going to let her start today.
Well, I was going to ask you about how the 2020 climate affected your work this year, but then I found your blog and it had all these watch recommendations that seemed to be inspired by current events. Then I continued scrolling through and found out that you were already doing that, which leads me back to my original question of how has 2020's environment affected what you do?
The question's for me?
Yes.
The 2020 environment. Well, like everybody else, pretty much in Los Angeles, which is still pretty locked down as a city, we all left our offices. So I left my office in early March and have been working from home since then. And many of us actually have relocated temporarily to other parts of the country. So I left Los Angeles a few months ago and came here to my parents in Illinois. So I'm in Southern Illinois instead of Hollywood, where I usually am. And we, as an organization, just basically had to shift. We're a media organization, and we do a lot of live events, and live screenings, and where we have like guests come and do Q&As with us, and we have filmmaker labs. So we have people coming to our office all the time for that. And education events for our members, because we're a membership organization. So all of that went away, and we had to move everything that we do virtual. And it probably took us from about March until May to accomplish that. And it was hard. It was pretty hard to move everything online. But once we did, I think everybody pretty much got used to it. It ended up for me being a great thing because I do the Q&A. I do a lot of the Q&As for our screenings. So we got to have guests from all over because we're on Zoom that we never would have got to have. I did.
It opens up the amount of people and the types of people that you can have in your programs, right, because, you don't have to fly anywhere.
I did a Q&A with 3 of the actors from Handmaid's Tale. And one was in Australia, one was in Maine, and one was in New York City. And I was in LA. So we're all in different places and all got to be together for that Q&A. And that's something that, the pandemic has sort of made easier for everybody, is getting people together online to do shows and Q&As and stuff.
It's been fun to have.
It has been fun. It's been fun to see people like get on Zoom and just recognize that, I don't have to just have my little small community. I mean, although there's nothing wrong with your little small community, I can actually just expand it. Like it's open to everyone. Come on down. Yeah. So it's been a really, I don't want to say good side effect. Like it's not good. I mean, it's good that it happened, but the pandemic isn't good.
Horrible all around.
But
It's something good that happened out of something bad.
there you go. Thank you, Tanya. See, you helping me out. This is why you're my co-host.
Beautiful words. Beautiful words. So I wanted to know quickly for everyone out there who doesn't know what the Spirit Awards are.
The Film Independent Spirit Awards have been around since oh my gosh, I think we're celebrating our 35th year this year. It's an award show that was started because the Golden Globes and the Oscars oftentimes don't get a chance to recognize smaller films with smaller budgets, more independent films.
And when you say smaller budgets, what do you mean? Because it seems like it's still pretty high. Some of them can get.
Yeah. The Spirit Awards, we have a budget cap of 22.5 million, which that's a lot of money. But when you consider that most Marvel films are at the $200 million mark, that's way less money. But we also have a category called the Cassavetes Award for honoring a film that's made for under $500,000. So we do get a lot of submissions for films that are way under that $22 million budget. So, we are considering like micro indies and some of the bigger, Hollywood indies too.
My question, since you are the person that does the Q&A portion, how do you come up with your question?
Yeah, help us improve our interview, please.
Yes.
I actually, I do a lot of work on my Q&As because I have stage fright and I want to be like extra super prepared. I made the mistake. I've been doing Q&As for probably like 12 years because Film Independent used to do the LA Film Festival. So I did a lot of Q&As for the film festival. And one time did a Q&A where I was embarrassingly really underprepared. I didn't have that many questions to ask the guest, and he gave like one-word answers. So we burned through all of my questions, and I had to on the fly come up with something else to talk to him about. And it was difficult, but it was an incredible learning experience as to how I need to really over prepare every single time. So I usually write myself twice as many questions as what I think I need. Most of my Q&As are about a particular movie or television show. So I usually make sure I've watched the whole season of whatever television show it is. For the movie, I usually make sure I've watched it all the way through at least 2 times. And I'll write questions or things that I'm thinking about all the way through the movie. But then whoever I'm doing the Q&A with, I'll research them too separately just to see what other kind of movies have they done and what I want to ask any other questions about, like, oh, hey, you used to do this type of movie a lot, but now you're doing this type of movie. Do you want to talk about like the switch in your career? And so I could do like a more holistic approach to asking the question. It's basically just
quite a bit of time then.
Yeah, it's basically just a lot of research. And then and I add in my own curiosity. I'm obsessed with movies and television. That's my whole life. So I usually add in a lot of stuff that I personally am curious about, and that I think other people would be too.
What's your favorite thing that you've seen this year?
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm not really into scary movies, but I am more than what I used to be. But I watched last week Possessor Uncut. Have you guys watched this film yet?
I have not.
I think it's available to rent online. It's about it's set in the future, and it's about a woman who's an assassin, but
I'm in.
She has the capability of committing her assassinations by possessing the body of another person so that nobody knows who she is. So, but then of course some things start to go wrong. That's where the film gets really interesting, because the person that she's possessing in the movie doesn't necessarily want to be possessed, and she starts to have some problems with that. But I thought it was a really incredible movie. It's by David Cronenberg's son, Brandon Cronenberg.
So it's going to be creepy.
have a frivolous question.
Sure.
Frivolous.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little backstory. So I knew of the Independent Spirit Awards briefly, and then I was reading a book, and then I heard that they gave an interesting gift bag, and I was like, gotta talk to somebody.
I'm sorry.
Do you literally give it? It was a fictional book, so I'd like to know: do you give good gift bags?
We actually don't do a gift bag anymore, but we did when I first started. And I heard there was some pretty good swag in it.
Mm-hmm.
Those have now we do more like gifting suites. So like when you not this year because awards will be virtual because of COVID, but when you come, our Spirit Awards is always in a tent on the beach in Santa Monica. And it's always in the afternoon, the day before the Oscars. And we set up a whole like party space outside the tent. And usually there's gifting suites there. So if sponsors want to come and give out free products to our presenters and things like that, that's where they go. So that kind of replaced our gift bag. But it's a fascinating subject because I don't know if Oscars still do it or not, but they used to give out some amazing like computers, all kinds of electronics, like crazy good stuff in there.
I've read about that. And yeah, well, on that had to be done. You had to answer that question because as authors, we just are naturally curious. I guess we're like cats that way. We just naturally get like, what is this? I don't know.
I know. I'm sorry that was one of the reasons that I asked you.
No, that's like
that's you should feel bad.
That's been one.
I'm curious about your journey though. Like, how did you get involved with Film Independent, and what precisely is your involvement with them?
When I was 33, I was living in Chicago and I was a software tester for a bank, and I really
sounds fun.
Hey, you
definitely was not fun.
Yeah, no.
And I did that for like 10 years, and I was, just bored and depressed. And I had gone to acting school and always been like fascinated with movies. And my friend, I was writing movie reviews for her website, and she was like, you're always talking about movies, and it's like the most important thing to you. Why don't you try to switch your career to do something with the movies? And because I had never thought of that before, like I could actually do something for a job that had to do with movies that didn't involve being a filmmaker. So I started to look into grad school programs and decided to go to grad school for film studies. And I got accepted to Chapman University, which is in Orange, California, and went to grad school for film. And then I got an internship at Film Independent, and I started there in the Spirit Awards, and then started working for the festival too. So I was doing the Spirit Awards and the festival, and just that's how I became a film programmer. I think that once you get out to Hollywood, there's a whole lot of jobs to do in the industry that don't necessarily involve making the films directly. There's tons of ways to be involved in the film industry. Even at a curatorial level, which is what I do, people need people like me to, because there's so much content in the world, to look at the movies and evaluate what people should see, what people should pay attention to that they might not necessarily.
And how do you find the projects to consider for the Spirit Awards?
So for Spirit Awards, people submit. So
then I guess what goes into your decision-making process?
So the nominations are decided by committees. So my coworker and I find about 50 committee members for 6 different committees. And the committees are made up of a bunch of independent film professionals. So like writers, directors, actors, producers, film critics, film programmers. and they watch all the submissions that we get for the Spirit Awards, and then they decide um, the nominations for each category, and then the membership of Film Independent votes on it. And by the way, I'll do a little promo for Film Independent membership. For $98 a year, you too can become a voting member for the Spirit Awards. So, and we send you all the films. So, all the films,
Yeah, that sounds like an excellent deal.
all the
Okay.
all the
Glad
films
you said it, because I was thinking it. That's a great idea.
all the films that get nominated, we put onto a viewing portal, and we give all of our voting members access to watch all of them. So they watch all of them and then they vote, and that's how the winners are decided for the Spirit Awards.
And if you're a filmmaker and you get involved like this, then you get to see what types of movies are being chosen for this, so you can think about that as you're making your own films.
Yes,
Right.
it was a good, wonderful point. I want to bring us back to your personal journey, because you said that you were 33 and you were a software tester at a bank. That's
Yep.
that's a decent job. And
Yep.
you said, no, I'm gonna go back to college and do something else. I mean, I know we know that your friend encouraged you, but what went through your mind when your friend said that? Were you like, are you kidding me right now? Of course I can't do that.
I think and this is something I would say to anybody. I would recommend to anybody that they put their personal happiness over financial security. Um, and that's what I did. You know, I had great financial security and a great benefits package, but I wasn't happy doing that job 40 hours a week. 40 hours a week is a lot to put into doing a job that you don't care about and that your heart's not in.
Yeah.
And if there's any way possible to do it, I think everybody deserves to try to have a job that they really care about. And, you know, there's a lot of jobs in the industry that pay really well, and I'm not going to be paid near as much as a lot of people because I work for a nonprofit organization. And but my priority has really been the films and being able and arts and culture, and the films are, you know, the top priorities in my life. So I prioritize what I get to do over the amount of money. And, you know, of course I make enough to live on, uh, but, you know, not to live in the Hollywood Hills or
Absolutely. Thank you for that piece of advice, because I think a lot of times we want to do a creative job. I know, like I was a sign language interpreter before I did this. You about to walk away from your good job to be a creative? Don't you do it.
yeah.
But it is what happened. I'm really happy doing it. So
It turned out well.
and it turned out well for us. So I thank you for like sharing that experience, because I think a lot of people need to know that sometimes, yes, you maybe have a great package, but you're just miserable.
Yep.
I was a software programmer working full time, and it was not my favorite.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're not happy, try to find a way out, right? Like
Yeah,
she
if
did.
you
Like
can.
if you can, try to find it.
So I had one question because she was a sign language interpreter and I happen to do events sometimes when I wanted to anyway. But and how does that evening work with getting everyone onto the beach and the traffic in Santa Monica and associating and having a gift suite? Can you give us a quick recap on how you maintain your own personal stress levels for that weekend, and then how the weekend kind of works?
Um, Luckily, I'm for the Spirit Awards. I'm mostly involved in the nominations process, which is what happens first, and then the actual production of the show. I'm usually not very involved in, so I just get to come there and go to it, which is really nice. But it's a great it is a great show, and everybody that comes just has the best time. And it's we rent a parking lot um, on the beach in Santa Monica. It's been several different parking lots up and down the beach there by the ocean, but the we most recently used the parking lot that was right by the pier. If you've ever been to Santa Monica Pier, and getting people there is really interesting because everybody has to be dropped off because there's no parking right there. So everybody's either got to take an Uber or they got to have a driver. Or one year somebody came on a scooter. They took the there's a bike path and a running path and right on the ocean right there, and they got on the path and took their scooter from home to the Spirit Awards. Um, but it's a super fun show, and I don't know, have you guys ever had a chance to watch it?
I've not.
So, again,
It's
gifting bag, and then I was like, "Ooh, let me read about this."
terrible. That's terrible. Though. I don't know if you should have
Sorry.
admitted that ever. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I don't think I should.
I've read about it. I read about it because I want to see
Yeah.
who won, but I have never watched it live.
Yeah, that's what we do. I read about it.
It's always on IFC, and but I'm sure you can find it somewhere on the internet. The last 2 years, I think we also broadcast it Facebook Live, so that more people could watch.
Yeah, that's
And
good to know because I don't have cable. I don't ever watch television when it regularly comes on. So it's like I'm not going to pay for a service that I don't use.
if you go to the Film Independent section on YouTube,
Hmm.
there's a Film Independent section, and there's tons of clips from the shows that you can watch. Aubrey Plaza was the host for the last 2 years. She's
Yeah, I
hilarious.
saw that.
We have writers that write skits for our host, and a bunch of guests come, and so, like, all of her friends in comedy usually come in and do skits with her for the show. So it's just great.
I love it. And like
love
every
this.
time you describe it, it's just like you're like, it's so great, and I'm like, I gotta go. And I'm like, you
Santa
can't go. You
Look,
can't
she-
go.
She
You
had
can
me.
watch it on TV.
She had me at Santa Monica Pier
No,
because
I'm
I
wishing-
love Santa Pier. Yeah, Santa-
I like
Okay.
everything besides the fact they don't have the jump food, but that's all.
Well, we're from the East Coast. What
We
can
are.
do? What can we do?
There we go.
Where can people find out how to get the membership that you were talking about?
So
And
if
more importantly, I would like you to share with people what the best way for viewers to support you and your organization would be, which I'm assuming is at the same site.
Answer
yeah,
what she said.
if you go actually to filmindependent.org, you can become a member through the website, and it will tell you like all the benefits that you get as a member. So not only do you become a voting member for the Spirit Awards, but we have a couple of screenings and Q&As per week of movies and television shows. And most of the time when we, it's a virtual screening, you watch it online, and then you watch the Q&A online. For most of the things that we screen, we also have guests join us. The other day, we just had the cast and crew of the new Netflix show, The Queen's Gambit, with Anya Taylor-Joy. And so we have been booking amazing guests for that. That's one of the big perks. And then we also do a series called Coffee Talks, where we have filmmakers interview each other. So a lot of filmmakers
really
are
cool.
friends already, and so we'll just email them and be like, hey, do you have somebody that you'd like to have a conversation with for an hour for our coffee talks? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm great friends with Ryan Johnson, who directed this latest Star Wars movie. And so then those people will just have a conversation about filmmaking together. So I think for $98, it's well worth it for anybody to do it, especially right now when we have a lot of online content. And so yeah, filmindependent.org, and you can find out not only about stuff that we do for our members, but about Spirit Awards on there, about if you're a filmmaker, you can find out about applying to our filmmaker labs.
And then if you are a member, does that preclude you from being able to vote if you're a filmmaker? Like if you submit your film and it's chosen to be one in the showcase, does that mean you don't get to vote that year? Or do you still get to vote?
Oh, do you mean if like I was a filmmaker and I submitted to the Spirit Awards, but I was also a member. Could I vote on my own film? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We have a lot of people, a lot of filmmakers that join when their films are nominated, and yeah, they could vote on their own film if they want to.
Wow, that is a
That
very
is
interesting.
truly in the spirit of defense.
That is very. So thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Taking time out of your schedule, which we know you're super
Because you
busy,
could have been watching movies right now.
or researching for your Q&A.
Right.
So thank you very much.
Anytime. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Just FaceTime me anytime.
All right. Thank you so much.
We'll just chat.
Anya, would you like to tell everyone where they can find out more about you?
I'm on social media at Ms. Tanya Todd, and my website is www.mstanyatodd.com. That's Ms., not Miss, TanyaTodd.com.
Oh,
It's
every
so
time,
nice
5
every
years from
time.
now, we're still gonna. Well, no,
Right,
you have something to
exactly.
say.
Oh, right. This is like, it's boring now.
Go ahead and say it though.
It's better when I interrupt you.
Well, no.
All right, here we
The
go.
floor is yours.
So if you go to www.andwethought.com, you can go to the homepage and see where professional actors read my script. Oh, I love it. It's a table read of my script.
It's the Ladies Tale podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you can find out everything your ladies are
Did you
doing.
just interrupt me?
Yes, it did. Everything your ladies are doing, and including what Winona just said at www.andwethought.com. While you're there, go to the ladies tab and see the charities that we proudly support right there in the middle. Now, as that old saying would say, money is funny in 2020, right? So it definitely is. You might not be able to support them with money, but maybe you have time. They are all looking for different things for volunteers, and maybe you can do that. And if you can't do that, then add them on social media or send them a nice, kind note and say, thank you so much for doing the wonderful work in the world. Well, Nona does need more encouragement, as we all can use more encouragement, because I've been interrupting her today. So they can use more encouragement also. And just remember that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. Peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and the very happy Jade.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, thanks for listening.